You need to have boundaries, especially if you are a woman that has her own business, especially a woman who's in real estate and somebody who owns their own brokerage. I have an aunt who's fucking crazy, okay? And she does crazy shit all the time. However, I'm about to tell you what this bitch did and how she scammed this lady out of her real estate business and got her ass whooped. So basically what happened, we was living in LA. I was younger. I lived throughout all the states, and this was a time when I was younger at this point when we was living there, okay? Um Basically what happened, my aunt came down. She wanted to come down to California, make some money, do whatever she's doing, do her thing. Boom. Okay. So she came down. She stayed with us at the townhouse down there for a while. And then for some reason, I think she kind of like moved out. She obviously did because she wasn't there like that. Because I remember when the incident happened, she wasn't really in the house. She had just came back over. But anyway, she ended up getting a job at a real estate brokerage company, and she was helping this lady out. Okay. Basically, she was doing everything that was in the scope of not having to deal with the license. So if she did bookkeeping, she did the accounting, she did the event planning, did all the stuff around the office, clerical stuff, made sure people payroll, everything, what she could do, she was able to help and get things done, and she was able to access money. So during the event, while she was working there, also the lady who owned the brokerage firm was going through some things with her husband. And my aunt did have, not, I'm not saying she was in the reason why they had some issues, but my aunt did play dibble dabble up in it, and that was the icing on the cake. So however, while my aunt's working there, the lady is allowing her to access the books, do whatever she needs to do. My aunt is scamming her. Because when you work in real estate, there are loose ends of pockets to where money is just there. And she was just scamming her. She was taking money. So she took over about like $100,000 from this lady. And when the lady finally realized what was going on, it was basically too late. My aunt basically had financially crippled her, because the money that she was scamming was supposed to go back into the lady's business. It was supposed to go back into her investments, any debt that was paid off, upgrades to the buildings, etc., whatever, education, extended learning, making sure everybody's stuff was paid for, insurance, bonds, whatever that you need for the brokerage. That money was not getting there. It went to my aunt. So when the lady found out, it just so happened my aunt decided she wanted to come over to the house that day at our home, and the lady came over there and whooped her ass. She whooped the dog shit out of that bitch. She whooped the dog shit out that house. She basically whooped her so bad, she whooped her out of her clothes. Like whooped her. And so the lady ended up, they had to call the police and everything. And, I'm just sitting there, I'm young, I'm like, what the fuck, what I'm saying? I'm over there playing my friends, my little friends. But yeah, I remember that whole scene. I remember they had to go get her. And then after that, of course, I wasn't in that time to be in grown folks' business like that, but I was in it like that because I was hearing shit, because I was always around it like that. But anyway, yeah, they had to like take that shit to court. They had, family members had to help get that cleared. But yeah, she scammed that lady out of her money in the real estate and crippled that woman's money and crippled that woman's business. And um my thing is to say, like I said, not everybody's bad, and not everybody's like a fucking crazy ass bitch like my aunt. But she did that. She did that. And you have to have boundaries, ladies, when you are working in any business and in real estate. Because I know that's what I do, that's what I love. But the reason why I even talk about it is because I know so many people personally that have either been scammed or been involved in part of the scam. And I'm like, what the hell wrong with you? Because it got easy. And like, you never know when somebody can turn. And that's why I just say, stay true to yourself, love yourself, invest in yourself, and make sure you keep boundaries, especially when it comes to your bank account and business, and have knowledge, because people will actually take advantage of you. And when I say knowledge, I also mean discernment. But yeah, she did that.